Come on, please. This is the only camera that he doesn't have access to. I'm going to seriously lose my marbles if it... Oh, thank the stars. I was half worried this wouldn't even... never mind. It's working now, that's what matters. I guess this is it then. I suppose I may as well get started with the confessional. My name is Canis. I am an apprentice to the Navigator Star responsible for the planet HSO 444 Sirius. We have been working on a design known as the Artifact Project for some time now. Longer than I would like to admit. Longer than it probably should have gone on. I should have stopped him when the project was still in its infancy, but I digress. He and I had created several projects and placed them on HSO 444 for the purpose of streamlining the process of searching for heroes to clean up the universe's problems. He wanted to develop a hands-off approach towards our work. This was with the pretense of understanding how many lives have been broken and destroyed due to our people's advancements across the cosmos. But things went wrong. They went horribly wrong. The Heart was the worst offender of this. It was also his most recent attempt at creating a perfect artifact. There was a fatal flaw with the system, the tethering. After generations of extensive use, all of life forces to it and its healing power are intrinsically connected, so much so to the point that if the Heart is to fail at any capacity, so do those tethered to it. They die. Sirius knew about this flaw since day one, and unfortunately, I did as well. On top of that, the Heart isn't just made from lithium and aether. To power it altogether requires the corpses and fragments harvested from dead Navigator stars. I was blackmailed into keeping it silent. If the rest of the constellation found out about this miscalculation, then we would surely be demoted, and even our rankings as stars removed entirely. The other stars would be forced to scrap all of our progress and clean up the despair we've wrought upon this planet. It's a fate I would not wish upon my worst enemy. I remained silent about Sirius's sins for a few hundred years now. It has been eating me alive. I can't sleep at night, I can't become a true Navigator Star, not after what I've committed, after those horrible misdeeds, and allowed this to... I can't crack. This is my confession. Pull yourself together, Canis. Sorry, I didn't mean to fall apart. I have more reading to do. The following logs have been written by myself regarding the development and research for the being residing in the Heart, colloquially known as the Emissary from here on out. They were designed with the express purpose of being a hero in the event that the Heart's calculative readings indicate a high percentile chance of imminent threats. Emissary Artificial Intelligence Development. Canis. Days of the Artifact Project. Emissary Development, Volume. Today marks the first day that we have fully activated the emissary's cognitive function. Their functions behaved appropriately, a relief to see for the first run of testing. Observing them through the cameras, Sirius and I had watched the nanobot begin to explore the perimeter of the holding cell. The pacing went on for approximately 20 minutes before the emissary began to emit vocalizations of improper galactic. We hypothesized that the intelligence is not advanced enough to understand the meaning of stringing together words into a coherent sentence. Despite not understanding the meaning of their words, there was nothing indicating the mentality of an infant. What was observed was curiosity, no registers of fear or anger present in the swarm. Motor functions were exceptional, the only issue being the lack of understanding and communication. We will run another diagnostic of the swarm's code before allowing the emissary another period of exposure in the holding cell. The following week, Sirius will allow another walkthrough. Day of the Artifact Project. Emissary Development, Volume. This following week, their linguistic understanding has improved, however marginally. I will test the theory of introducing language lessons when they have grown more comfortable in the observatory. Sirius decided to move directly to the next phase of introducing stimuli into the emissary's environment. My mentor is eager. I have not seen him this excited for anything in his countless decades. This is his pet project after all. I do not blame him. Musical stimuli was played through the speakers into the holding cell, proving that the emissary's auditory receptors are functional. They reacted in a positive way to the stimulus. While there was initial confusion, they eventually relaxed and settled into the corner of the room directly below the speaker. The emissary remained in the corner until the conclusion of the music, in which they appeared visibly saddened. I turned the music back on for another 20 minutes before the swarm had dispersed back into the artifact. Days of the Artifact Project. Emissary Development, Volume. Sirius detected a reading of supernovas further along the galaxy's arm, so I was left on my own for this week's report and assessment of the emissary. But I was granted a set of instructions from him. Via the intercom, I had spoken to the emissary for the first time. Their reading shot up to indicate anxiety, so I had attempted my best to sound reassuring to mixed results. There was initial fear from them, but they eventually relaxed enough to listen. I had asked a series of questions to them, all of which were simple yes or no questions. Are you feeling well today? Has the silence been bothering you? Do you understand why you are here? Would you like a larger room? The following answers, yes, yes, no. The last one was not provided an answer. They had only shrugged. Sirius was gone, so I found myself deciding to play more music for them. Day of the Artifact Project. Emissary Development, Volume. After some convincing from Sirius, I was allowed to enter the holding cell. The emissary appeared surprised when they saw me. They were only in that room with themselves in the heart. It's no shock they were startled, though they quickly warmed up upon recognizing my voice. I introduced myself, and I told the emissary their title. They frowned, appearing rather annoyed at the thought. I asked them would they rather be called, if not the emissary, or the hero, and they had spoken their first word to me. Rhythm. I had asked why they preferred that as a name. The prompt answer would be them pointing at the heart, silently pulsing in the center of the room. If it simplifies interaction with them, then I would be referring to the being as both emissary and rhythm, interchangeably moving forward. Sirius had insisted on continuing calling them the emissary. Day of the Artifact Project. Emissary Development. I have been returning periodically to the holding cell to begin linguistic lessons with Rhythm. They learn quickly. I am sure that within the next few weeks they will be speaking in comprehensive sentences. I've started asking more complex questions than the ones previously only requiring yes or no answers, such as how they are feeling, what they are expecting from today's lessons, what they hope to learn, and so on. Rhythm has expressed optimism in our time together. They have said that they wanted to, quote, become as good as talking as you are, unquote. It was almost endearing, seeing their attempts at structured speaking. Rhythm's rapid rate of progress is nearly astonishing. While it is to be expected from the codes instilled into the nanobot swarm, it is almost worrying to a degree. Excuse the ethical questions I am about to raise, but I do have a few notable concerns. What if they begin desiring for something more beyond the holding cell? Would they ever desire an escape attempt? To try and find the star watching them beyond the security cameras? These are questions I may need to pose to Sirius when I get the chance. For now, I will return working on the next set of flashcards for Rhythm's education. Emissary Development, Volume Number. This set of cards was promoting and teaching Rhythm contractions, pronouns, and adverbs. She struggled to understand the spelling of contractions and proper nouns, but it wasn't something I was terribly concerned with. Their duty as a hero is not to focus on the linguistics and written language of the people. But, at the very least, she needs to understand proper communication with the people she will be working with. I explained to her pronouns, and she grew curious. She questioned the he that I continued to mention, and I illustrated that some people have different titles when not referring directly to their names. It's not always situations like myself and the emissary being something difficult to categorize into a spectrum of gender. It's why I simply preferred being known as something neutral. At first, Rhythm was confused. They were expressed it was confusing that everyone needed different pronouns in reference to them. She asked why not everyone just go by something neutral. I said that everyone is a little bit different, and their words should reflect that. Eventually, Rhythm understood. She eventually wondered if there were more expressions besides Sirius and I's pronouns. I did agree, saying that there are far more that other stars and people can use. They enjoyed the sound of feminine pronouns, so I will honor that for Rhythm. Day 2 of the Artifact Project. Emissary Development, Volume. Sirius took my ethical questions to heart, though I wonder if asking it all was for the best. Sirius claimed that if these questions are beginning to rise, then there must be a trigger for that concern, and that it may be time to begin initiating the testing phase. I argued. I didn't think she was ready yet. She still barely understood how to speak and form complex ideas to hold a conversation, but he wasn't budging. I couldn't convince him otherwise.
Rhythm seen Sirius for the first time today. I did not see any fear in her eyes when she met his frozen stare. Sirius was strangely gentle with her, however. I could tell that she was excited, though it was for the wrong reasons. Sirius guided her to the laboratory. I knew I wasn't going to be speaking to her again in the physical world for a long time once the procedure began. Perhaps not for another 100 years, or even longer. Rhythm will be put into a trance-like state as Sirius manipulates the programs embedded inside of the swarm to illustrate different scenarios for the emissary to play out and enact, all within the realms of their mind. Was she ready? Did we do the right thing? Day of the Artifact Project. Emissary Development, Volume. The days are boring without her to visit anymore. Sirius does not allow me to visit the recordings or the logs of the tests that she is being put through. I have resigned back to studying Arcadia on HSO-444 for preparation of the Deliverance, as distant as it may be from now. I will document my findings on Arcadia in a different log series. The work is mundane. Day of the Artifact Project. Emissary Development, Volume. Every time I pass by the lab and glance into the testings chamber, there is only guilt. I see her lying in the gurney, attached to innumerable machines and computers, calculating 100 different things as ones and zeros flashing with the code that Sirius and I have written by our own hands. I could see her twitching and writhing in her trance at times. Never any screams, but I can visibly see that she is in great pain. Day of the Artifact Project. Emissary Development. What do nanobots and emissaries dream of, I wonder? Sirius only told me that it's more testing simulations, something to prepare for the real-world responsibilities of protecting the heart in Arcadia. That's true enough. It's not like there's any room in the labs for them to practice fighting physically. There's only enough room for that in the mindscape. I walked past her chamber again, watching her. Does she remember me, I wonder? Am I ever present in those dreams, even as a voice? I think about Rhythm a lot. It's a shame. There's piles of flashcards and folders of lessons that I didn't get around to with her. Sirius is leaving for another trip along the Orion Spur later tonight. I think I will play more music for her. I don't know if she will be able to hear it, but perhaps something will get through to her psyche. Maybe she will know that it's me. Day 2 of the Artifact Project. Emissary Development, Volume. I regret having asked to look at the logs. If I had known what Sirius would be putting her through, I would shut this all down as soon as it started. I would have told Nova, someone, anyone else, but we're in too deep now. I foolishly requested to look at the recordings, only for the express purpose of reporting project in case the AI had advanced during the years in the testing chamber. Sirius was reluctant, but I did manage to persuade him. 86. She had lived 86 lifetimes in that testing chamber. Each time, a different kingdom with different people, different scenarios, different disasters, but all equally horrible. She remembers each and every iteration of every life that she is forced to live and die in the name of being a perfect hero. When he wasn't looking, I took a look into the heart's motherboard and I was horrified at what I found. It was displaying the same chemical signs as a mortal with signs of anxiety and post-traumatic stress disorder. While her intelligence has been greatly enriched, her psychology is damaged almost beyond repair. I asked Sirius why. It's the way we've written the lines of code. He began that terrible, condescending tone I despise so deeply. It builds upon itself upon receiving more information as time goes on. The emissary will make mistakes, hundreds of them. It will grow, learn, and become exactly what a hero must be. Sirius had posed the argument that they're not even truly alive. It's better the emissary than to curse real people with the burden of being a hero. Alive. Is the emissary truly alive? Have I been fooled all this time into thinking that? Was I just tricked like any other mortal would have been?
Day 3 of the Artifact Project. Emissary Development. I can't keep watching this. The experiments have gone on even longer. Too many years now. There's a way to maintain the code, yet wipe the memories and stress that has been induced through each cycle. I know it, and I will figure it out. Sirius doesn't even have to know. I will develop it, no matter what the cost is. Dave of the Artifact Project. Emissary Development. I've done it. I have perfected the code. But there is a catch before I can install it into this swarm. It makes me wonder if I actually have the courage to do it. She will forget me. My voice, my face, Sirius, it will all be gone as well, and will be forgotten through each cycle. I can keep the code that was built from education and instruction, but if I am to wipe the affiliation cause of building it, then I will be wiped as well. At the very least, she will not be suffering anymore. Dave. Emissary Development. The logs have been discovered. Sirius had told me that I am emotionally compromised, and if he had the say, I would have been kicked off from the project a long time ago. But if I were to be removed, then it would potentially jeopardize the entire project. This is not something that one star can do, and 2 people are required to complete it. I hate that he is right. I can't leave either. Sirius and I are both stuck in this eternal dance around one another, absorbing the blinding starlight and vitriol from one or the other. This terrible waltz among the cosmos as we are forced to remain together to the disquieting heat death of it all. Day 7542 of the Artifact Project. Emissary Development. Volume number 754785. This will be my final entry. The testing phase is complete. The AI is fully developed and ready to be delivered to Arcadia. Rhythm, I am sorry I cannot save you. But one day we will meet again. I promise.